Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of What's Next with We. Today, this episode is part of the podcast series in collaboration with TiEBangalore. We have a special guest today, Srishty Jain, who is an investment bank turned edtech entrepreneur. Interesting story. We'll definitely get to know more about her journey on this episode. Srishty, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Great. I'm Vishal Ramaswamy, your host as always. Jumping right in, Srishti, you have been an investment banker, obviously a very coveted role after your MBA or after your graduation. People stay long, people obviously build a lot of relationships, knowledge, at the same time, wealth during that particular career option. And you moved from there to an edtech entrepreneur. So I'm sure the listeners out there would really like to know your unique journey. Over to you, Srishti.
So my journey actually started very early. Vishal, I had a very, very unique life. I was raised by a single mom, and my mom actually went back to her school after 16 years of her marriage. And she actually, did her B.Ed, did her MA twice, and became a teacher in the school. And that's when she raised me as a single parent. And this gave me early on in my life a biggest lesson that nothing is impossible in life. If you put your heart and soul to it, if a female who has never touched a pen for 14 years of her life can go back and study and become a topper and a gold medalist in her B.Ed, I can do everything. So
Wow.
that is how it started. But then my dreams changed. At some point in time, like every kid, I wanted to be a doctor, then an engineer. And by the time, I completed my 12th standard, I had no intention to become doctor or an engineer. So I was a topper in Rajasthan board. And I wanted to be an IAS officer. So I took arts after, being a topper in 10th board. And yeah, by the time I completed my 3 years as a graduation and I was a gold medalist there as well, I did not want to be an IAS officer. I wanted to be an investment banker. So I did my MBA. And, from I was lucky, again, uh, right time at the right place. So my summer internship project got selected as one of the best projects in India, and I was giving my presentation, and that's when I met my first boss. And he was at that point in time looking to hire people. So he said that, why don't you, meet me in Bangalore? I met him, and everything fell into place. And it was a front end investment banking job. Just think about it, from science to arts to commerce, and then again topping MBA, and then getting into an investment banking front end role. At that point in time, it was highly coveted because not many bulge bracket investment banking firms were in India. And even your competition was with I am Kolkata, and I'm Bangalore, and I'm Ahmedabad guys. But then I'm a dreamer. I've always dreamed about unconventional things, and God has been kind to fulfill all my dreams. Yeah, that happened. And then what about from there on? So when I was when I joined as an investment banker, the only thing I knew about it was that this was one of the most coveted and one of the most glamorous job. But when I entered the office first day, I realized I don't know anything beyond it. And I was very lucky to have my first boss. His name is Vikram Bihani, and he's still my he's still my mentor. And he taught me everything. How to make a teaser, to a financial model, to a making a pitch deck, giving the presentations, everything. Even how to make a term sheet and things like that. And very lucky to be involved in a couple of biggest transactions of India in FMCG space, where Imami bought Zandu, or Janak Healthcare got acquired by Midmark Corp. A lot of other transactions like that, and learned a lot. Every day was a learning experience till since the time you enter into the office, and by the time you leave the office, you have learned so much for the day. And stayed there for 3.5 years, and thought that grass is always greener on the other side. Got this offer from Deloitte Corporate Finance, which is the investment banking arm of Deloitte India. So I joined there, And then I realized that, how good it is to start your career with a smaller organization, because
True.
that's where you learn the whole trick of trade. And there is zero politics, everybody is there to contribute to the growth of the organization. And you learn as a, you grow as a human being. This happened. I was in Deloitte, again, was one of the youngest engagement managers of Deloitte, did a couple of deals there as an engagement manager, got promoted, all that happened. And then I got an opportunity uh, where my spouse shifted to Dubai. So I was again in Dubai, worked in again one of the largest private equity houses called Almasa, capital of Dubai, and yeah, was involved in a couple of deals there. And then my boss, who was heading the corporate finance practice in that organization, he actually, decided to move on and started his own consultancy. And gave me a VP, vice president position. And in our field, where it is investment banking, and when a boss asks you to join, you are doing something good in life. And it's a very
True.
proud moment. So I
True.
joined there, again involved in Tim Hortons and Dr. Sanjay and Aster Healthcare, a lot of other deals. And and in the meanwhile, I've been always a lifelong learner. So I completed my CFA charter holder. I also completed my CIA, became a charter holder there. And I did my second MBA, which is an executive post-graduation program with the UCLA Anderson. Best part about that program was the faculty there. And, what's the biggest difference between Indian education and a foreign education or a US education per se is the mentorship part, is what I figured out. And those professors became my lifelong mentors. During those one of the breakout sessions, I got this courage that, my eyes actually twinkle when I talk about the earlier unicorns of India, like, Flipkart, Sachin Bansal, Capillary Guys, and everything. And he said that, why don't you try that? And I got so much of courage, decided to take a, leap of faith, left everything in Dubai, came back to India in October 2019. And since then, I have been running this company called CoLLearn Education. And this is how the shift.
Awesome story, Srishti. I think quite inspirational, as you said, right? From science to arts to commerce and topping wherever you went. I think, as you said, right, nothing is impossible if you put your mind, heart, and soul. I think you typically come out successful. Jumping on to my next question, Srishti, is your obviously your startup CoLearn, right? It's a bit different. There are quite a few edtech companies out there in India doing different things. So it'd be good to hear what is different at CoLearn. What are you building? What's the thought process? Couple of success stories if you may have, if you want to share with the listeners. So yeah, would be good to hear your story at CoLearn.
Sure. So, at CoLearn, we say that if you don't want to become doctor, engineer, and an accountant, you should come to CoLearn. We basically help people make their passion into full-time profession, right? And we want to be in the non-traditional segments. Right now, sports is our largest category. We make people umpires, sports analysts, sports commentators, sports
Wow.
journalists, and sports social media managers. And we are into outcome-based learning. So we just don't give you gyan. We also help you intensively with your placements. And today we are very proud to say that our students are working with Rajasthan Royals, uh, KKR. We have students in Star Sports. We have students in Kadamba Technology, which is the second largest sports analytics company. We have students in Baichung Bhutia School of Football, Padukon Dravid Center of Excellence, Super Analytics, you name it, 100 plus sports companies hire from us today.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's what is our success parameter. It is not about how many people have joined our courses. That number is good and good to have it. But our North Star actually is how many people have transitioned their life into passion. They have transitioned into the life of their passion is what we very seriously track it, and we seriously get involved in it. For us, the kicking point is when our student says or sends us a message saying that today my dream came true. Today I'm the happiest in my life. You don't know how much. I mean, I look forward to going to office every day, and this is what stands apart in other edtechs and us. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Srishti, you had mentioned that your main focus on sports analytics. So I'm sure many out there wouldn't know too much about the landscape. So if you can just draw how that sports, I mean, the allied services that support an athlete or the sport, if you can just give a background there, that would be good. And at the same time, the students that you train, the age range, do they need to have a degree, a bachelor's, a master's? Or can anybody just register depending on the passion, their interest on your platform? So it would be good to hear your thoughts there.
Sure. To answer your first question, see, the landscape of sports has changed since the new government and also since Neeraj Chopra, winning the gold for us. It's changed the mindset of all the middle class and upper middle class families, right? I mean, people
True,
started believing that, if one person can get gold, any other can get gold as well.
true.
So, see, some of the data suggest that sports in India is going to grow at 15% year on year for the next 10 years because for the simple reason our base is so small. And second, with the growth in terms of esports, fantasy sports, even sports, product companies, sports manufacturing, and also sports analytics, we will need at least around 10 million more people working both in organized as well as unorganized segment in
Wow.
sports in the next 10 years. Yeah, and not to forget about our aspirations to have double-digit medal tallies in all the biggest, whether it is Olympic, whether it is FIFA, whether it is, Asian Games or CWGs. So that growth has just started to explode. And if you see right now, also most of the industries are firing people. Sports is the only industry which is hiring left, right, center. I mean, some
Wow.
bit to do with the euphoria which IPL creates and which is the
True.
biggest festival of India. But apart from that, every other segment is also hiring. Now, talking about sports analytics in India, it's one of the newest field and it's one of the fastest growing field in India. For simple reason, what does an analyst do? His work is to basically evaluate a team performance or a player performance and charter the winning strategies for the team on the basis of data. Nothing else on the basis of data. And with technology coming at the forefront, whether it is the biggest games or whether it is the club cricket, sports analytics is going to grow at a massive space. We have seen people, analysts uh, taking home salaries of around 15 lakhs, 22 lakhs, so on and so forth. So just think about the demand that this industry and the salaries that this industry is going to offer.
Oh, that's awesome. And in terms of your learners, I mean, is it widespread? Can anybody apply?
So,
Is there
see,
any criteria?
yeah, Vishal, we have gotten learners from 12-year-old kids to 55-year-old uncles. Now, I mean, it is passion based. Sports as an industry doesn't differentiate you in terms of sports, never see a degree. Are you from IIT? Are you from IIM? Are you from a very, do you have even degrees or not? It doesn't differentiate unless the role is
That's
very
awesome.
specific. But most of the roles, they don't differentiate. So if you are passionate about it, and if you don't have degrees as a parameters, then your passion counts and you have to be really different because
True.
then the whole world is your competition. And to and they make sure that they get highly passionate people, differentiated thinkers, people who are loyal for the company and for the industry. So those are the parameters, and obviously your work should speak. I mean, if today we get around 100 calls in a week saying that, ma'am, I'm so passionate about sports, I want to work in it. I mean, everybody is passionate about sports. Everybody is passionate about cricket in India. But
True.
how do you differentiate is something, sets you apart.
Got it. Got it. So listeners out there, I think it's a pretty interesting platform that Srishti is running because typically you see other edtech companies out there, their metrics is mostly the number of students that register or they get trained. I think that way you're quite differentiated. One obviously is passion-based learning. Other one is you don't want everybody to come in. You really want good, passionate, interested folks coming into your platform. So I think that's pretty interesting the way you're building your startup. Coming to my next question, Srishti, I believe I did notice that you are part of the Google for Startups cohort. Would like to know the work that you're doing there, the help that you're getting. How are you kind of contributing there? Would be good to hear your thoughts.
Sure. So Google for Startup as an accelerator exists from last 8 years or so. But last year they did the first female cohort where they selected 20, female founded startups from India who they felt that they are category creators. Now, and they provided us with 5 months of extensive mentorship. The best part about it was, we, for the 5 months and even today, we feel ourselves that we are part of Google. Now, any kind of support that we need, whether it is with the L&D head of Google or startup head of Google, or somebody sitting in Singapore and we need some help or discussions, they're all there. We just have to ask, and we get those people to come on call or meet us whenever there is possibility. So that was the best part about it. And it was very customized. So, it was not one to many kind of session, it was one to one kind of session.
Oh,
So then,
awesome.
it is very customized, very, curtailed for your own, needs. So that was the best part of it. And also, it gave us a lot of recognition in the industry. Now, for the rest of our life, we can use Google for Startups as a tag on every website and on every, our marketing document. So, which is a big, social proof as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nevertheless, got unique set of mentors for life now. They've become friends. They've become, very good confidant of ours. And even today, the program is over, but still Google keep doing a lot of promotions for all 20 founders.
No, that's awesome. No, I think as you said, the validation is one. Second one, the mentorships, right? I mean, those mentors can be for life, need not be just for the cohort, right? I think
Yeah.
those kind of relations that you build is lifelong. I think Srishti, you've been running your startup for more than 3 years now. As you said, multiple partnerships, and one of them being Google for Startups. I think you've seen a pretty good journey so far. And if I'm not wrong, 20,000 plus learners on your platform, if I'm not wrong.
25,000 registered
25.
users.
Awesome. So I think you've seen that journey. You've reached some, obviously, a great market fit, and now you're looking to scale. We are seeing now a lot of women as founders coming and building, like leaving corporate jobs or coming back from maternity leaves and looking to figure out, okay, what's next for them. So would be good to hear your thoughts, because you left your career in Dubai, like a flourishing career there, left that, came back to India, and you're building it from India. Would be good to hear, I mean, few tips, tricks for women founders building from India. Because as you can see, the ecosystem is quite well built now in India. It's quite matured. So it's relatively easier now for women founders to kind of build from scratch. So it would be good to hear your tips and tricks for them.
Vishal, I would say that this is one of the best time to be an entrepreneur in the world, right? You don't need capital, you don't need connects. Everything is at, maybe in the 7 degrees of your connections would be
True.
available, right? But I would also go little far and say that it is, better than the best time to be a female entrepreneur. The amount of support that you are getting from the whole ecosystem, whether it is Google, whether it is TiE, whether it is, I am Bangalore, I'm just naming a few, Sonder Connect, all of these. These are like, you just have to ask and everything is there for you. And this is one of the best time. So I would say to all the female, all the women who have some dreams and they think that they can make an impact in the society, just take that first step. See, nobody is going to take your first step on for you. That
True.
step has to be taken, and then as they say, that the whole kainat would come and help you out. And this is true. See, Vishal, I don't belong to sports fraternity, but you won't believe that I just have to ask in the sports fraternity what I need, and the whole fraternity just comes and helps me out. I've built the whole
Wow.
business out of, just passion and just a drive that I can impact somebody's life and I can change somebody's life for better. And this has resonated well with everybody, and see where we are today. So I
Wow.
would say that, have a dream. Every girl out there, have a dream. This is your life. I mean, you can be a mom, you can be a sister, you can be a wife, you can be a mother. But at the end of the day, you should have your individual identity as well, and go far beyond, your all these conventional roles, because it is your life and life is one.
True. Yes, Srishti, I think powerful message. I think as you said, right, the one side, the ecosystem is pretty well set. You just reach out on LinkedIn, WhatsApp has so many groups. Any
Hmm.
of these ecosystem partners, you just ask them, as you said, they just come and help you out without any intentions, right? So I think, as you said, great time to be in India and build in India. So to all female founders, women founders out there, I think you have a very strong supporter in Srishti to support in your journey. Srishti, going to I think my last kind of question for today, which is basically the theme of my podcast, which is basically what's next. I think you've been doing this for past 3.5 years. You've seen great success in whatever you're doing. Just want to understand how would CoLearn look like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years later?
So our, short to medium term vision is basically to have every kid dream about sports as the fourth option after doctor, engineer, and accountant. But at the same time, we want non-traditional courses and passion-based careers to be at the fore. So if tomorrow you want to be a climate activist, you want to be a sustainability officer, you want to be, doing for example, you want to lead a zero waste life, or you want to be a sports person. All these options, which are considered very non-traditional, should be available to every kid in India, and based on his or her passion, he should choose. Not because it is, because not because of the lack of options, and not because somebody is pressurizing you, or because of peer pressure, you're opting for it, and very soon in your career you realize this is not your first love. So, every kid who is passionate about something should be able to make a full-time career in that, is what we want to be remembered in the centuries to come.
Got it, Srishti. So obviously, sports is just one part of it. Like as you grow, you will obviously figure out other passion areas where
Mhm.
maybe typically you don't have a platform or an education institution teaching that, and you want to build a course and a placement on top of it, right? Is that the plan?
Yes, yes.
Cool. Srishti, any last thoughts, any parting thoughts before we wind up?
Uh, just this much, that, yeah, for everyone, irrespective of male or female, just have a dream and give your heart and soul to realize that dream. It's all worth it. All the sacrifices, everything is worth it once you have attained your dream. So, yeah.
True. Absolutely. I second that. On that note, Srishti, thanks a lot once again for spending time on my podcast. Was absolute pleasure having you, listening to your story, your unique journey so far. More powers to you and the team to create more passion-based courses, uh, training young and obviously middle-aged and old folks in kind of identifying the passion, training them, and then giving them placement opportunities. So all the best, Srishti, in your journey.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be part of this.